Everybody, welcome to the Icon 1901 Collective Podcast. I hope you are having a wonderful Sunday. I am your host, Attorney David Dirks, and Chief Compliance Officer of the Icon 1901 Collective. As you can see, I have my wonderful partners here with me. They're going to introduce themselves, and then we are going to jump right into it.
Hi, my name is Marva Nichols. I am the Chief Marketing and Branding Officer.
Hi, I'm LaShanda Love. I'm the Chief Executive Officer.
Hello, I am Mark Smith. I am the Chief Development Officer and also the Financial Officer.
Awesome. Listen, that's us, right? It's all four of us. We're here to serve you all, especially the student athletes at the HBCU institutions or minority institutions that we will be working with. Today's show will focus on NIL laws. The policies, the rules, we've all heard it. It's changing so quickly. It's changing so fast. I got a question for my co-hosts and my partners. What do you all think about these NIL laws? What do you guys think about the developments? Like, what do you think?
I'll take that first, David. One, I love it. I think it's great for the student athletes. I think that it's going to provide them an avenue to think outside the box and to grow themselves as a business and to grow their brand. We have some of the most creative students in the world in our institutions, and we need to make sure that we are giving them every opportunity to win in this space.
Well, I want to say that we know for many years that athletes were not able to receive any type of donations, couldn't get a free meal. They had so many roadblocks, and a lot of them suffered and struggled through their college years while making billions of dollars for the institutions that they play for. So I think this is a great opportunity for college athletes, especially our HBCU athletes. And although it's constantly changing, it's evolving every day. Like NIL news, policies and laws are constantly changing. And so I'm excited to just see where it actually goes, but I'm happy for our student athletes that they can benefit from their name, image, and likeness.
Shanda, you got to add? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's great too, but it has to be done right. And that's why we're here, to help guide the students to make sure that they're making the right decisions.
Absolutely. And y'all made some good points. Like, it's changing daily.
Mm-hmm.
Student athletes and schools and parents and coaches, everybody involved with a student athlete's success, in this case, their business, should be aware of NIL laws. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the history and how we got here. As Marva stated, NILs really came about because students wanted to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. So we have NIL now to allow students to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. And it's not new. What the NCAA did over the last 100 years, pretty much, was they developed rules to make sure that collegiate athletes are not employees. So this has always been about making sure that colleges did not have to pay workers' comp. So if the student, there we go. If the student got injured playing on the field or on the team, then they created these amateurism rules to avoid having to pay workers' comp. So it was a setup from the start.
Yep.
It was a setup from the start. So you had from the 80s to the most current, athletes were just, getting scholarships, and then, that's all. Maybe a full ride, maybe some financial aid in certain instances, but collegiate sports was booming.
It was a modern. I look at it as a modern day plantation.
Absolutely, because we know that you had ESPN that came on the scene in the 80s. Or whenever they came up, don't quote me on that, but ESPN came on the scene, and then you got these big companies start realizing the power of really the urban athletes. Because let's be honest.
Be honest, yeah.
Let's be honest, right? And so you have these big endorsement deals for these schools, and it's $1 million, multi-billion-dollar industry, yet they're not paying the people that's doing all the labor.
Right.
That's really crazy. That's really crazy.
And
so most recently, and this has been going on, but most recently, sort of in 2019, you had California. California passed legislation that basically said by the year 2023 that schools could no longer punish athletes who accepted endorsement deals. Meaning, y'all can't put them out, you can't redshirt them, or all this other kind of stuff. Shanda or Mark could probably do, give me the right terms, but California basically said no more. You can't keep making money off of the backs of these students.
And they graduating broke.
There you go. And then NCAA actually made a statement. They were like, this threatens our rules. This threatens collegiate sports. And they saw this law as a threat, which is interesting. Shanda, you look like you got something to say.
The NCAA had 1.1 billion in revenue last year. So what threat is this law actually? I think it's just a lot of bloviating, trying to stay in control. Like they don't, of course, they don't want the kids to have authority.
They don't want black athletes.
I agree.
To be able. They don't want even playing field at all.
And let me interject.
Our schools and our institutions.
Businesses are the ones that can benefit from this as well. So this is not just about the NCAA. This is about how students learn how to market themselves, how to help businesses grow, and take advantage of that. So this is a revenue stream and creates a whole nother economy out there for people to make money. And it's not just the athletes, it's the businesses as well, if they partner and do it the right way.
Do y'all think this is also about the colleges losing out, what they think they may be losing out on?
Yes.
If they're not, if they have to share a piece of the pie?
Which is crazy because most of their deals are multi-year anyway. So I don't even understand, exactly what the fear of when it comes to saying they may lose revenue. It's unsubstantiated.
Yeah. I think NIL laws too, David, will cause athletes to look at schools that they may have wanted to attend. Maybe the kid is a big time student, doesn't want to go to a Power 5 school. They want to play where their parents can see them. And then you have an NIL deal where someone locally says, hey, you know what? I support that kid and I want to make sure that they can play here, play in their hometown. And here's some money for the work that they're going to be doing, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's okay as well, because it evens the playing field out for some of these other schools that are out there.
Absolutely. California that created that state law, and then you have Florida, you had Alabama, and then the NCAA all this time was like, okay, we need to create a rule. They asked Congress to create a uniform NIL rule, right? Because they kind of knew that states were kind of going to do their own thing. So in 2021 is when you saw most states creating their NIL laws, including the state of Louisiana, as well as the NCAA. That's when these laws first became enacted. Now, students have to know NCAA laws, state laws, and they have to follow the rules of their colleges and universities. The compliance procedures, which you can and can't do. And I find that to be, although I'm so excited about it, like I find it sort of irresponsible a little bit from the NCAA and Congress that they couldn't roll this out a little bit better. But I think it creates an opportunity. Do you all think the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it creates a huge opportunity, and that's why we're here, right? We're here to help navigate that space. We need these student athletes to have a good experience while in college. We all agree. We went to HBCU, and it was the best time of our life. I always laugh and I say that's the only time I ever want to repeat my life is my time at GSU and Clark Atlanta University. But we need these students to be able to do that. So how do we make it easier for them to get these NIL deals through the compliance, through the system, and then two, to make sure that they are eligible and that there's no complications with that interfere with their college athletics.
Right, because we don't want the kids just signing anything. And I'm already kind of starting to see that happen with a lot of the students. So we need, alumni or businesses and stuff like that to kind of step up and know what they're doing to be able to help the students.
Yeah, and professionals like ourselves to help them navigate, as Mark said, through this process. It's unknown. It's uncharted waters for our students, our parents, and we as collective partners have had to learn as we go. Mm-hmm. And so, could you imagine student athletes not knowing anything about even business development, financial literacy, even how to approach a business, or when a business approached them, how to handle that, who to go to, how to handle the compliance paperwork. So this is why the Icon 1901 Collective was formed, so that we could, our heart was in the right place, because initially we were gonna just help our Grambling athletes, but we became the source for all HBCU athletes. We expanded our vision, because this collective, we all are visionaries in our own right. And so I just think that we are the type of people, the type of professionals that student athletes should connect with in order to make sure that they are doing this the right way, as our CEO said.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to talk about a few pieces here, because we talked about, approaching companies, making sure they go through that compliance piece with the school. So just want students to know that depending on where you go to school and the state that you're in, you probably need to send that contract to compliance before you sign the dot, or immediately send it to compliance. This is not legal advice. Nothing here is to be construed as legal advice. Let me say that. I should have said that at the top. Put my attorney hat back on. But you should know that you need to make the school aware of the contracts that you are signing. There's a couple of reasons for that. Some schools don't let you sign up to represent, alcohol products, gambling companies, sports betting companies, marijuana, tobacco, or any any product inconsistent with the values and mission of the university. Right. So remember to make sure that you see whatever that compliance process is, that you know what it is at your school. If there is no website at your school, contact someone in the athletics department. There is a compliance officer. Go speak to them immediately and figure out what you need to do. And then also remember that schools can also restrict or deny NIL activity. So for instance, they can tell you, we can't approve that contract because we might have a contract. Say you got a contract with Coca-Cola, the school is represented or has a contract with Pepsi. There may be a conflict of interest there. But this is where you need to get your parents involved, possibly an attorney, a manager, to make sure that, there's actual good reason for the school to say, we might not be able to approve you to do that, because we don't want you all just to take anybody's word for it, right? We want you to do your due diligence to make sure that you can enter into a contract and make the money that you need to make, because that's your right. So, but you need to make sure whatever the rules are at the school, that you understand what they are, ask questions. You can work with the Icon Collective. We can help and assist you in that matter. Absolutely. So anybody have anything else to add to that?
I wanted to say, you know, a lot of times these universities aren't very forthcoming with information when it comes to the contracts that they're engaged in. So you have to be mindful also of what the state laws are in regards to requesting public records from public
That's good.
universities.
That's good.
Okay, a lot of our schools have that posted on their website. So, you know, it's really, you have to do your due diligence when entering into this NIL space to knowing how it comes about full circle. Because they could, like you said, they could tell you anything.
I can tell
They
you
could.
anything.
Yeah.
And I just want everybody to know, and as people watch this podcast and things like that, we're going to be here. So you can tune in, you can learn. We're going to be here. This is not just for those athletes that are current. This is for future athletes as well. I mean, there's going to be a wealth of knowledge that comes from this team here and the partners that we have that are really going to set even the future athletes up for success as well. So I just want to put that out there because NIL laws can change left and right, right? But one thing that's going to be consistent is this collective right here. You're going to be here.
Absolutely.
Wow. So Dave, I was wondering if schools, collectives, or boosters can promise athletes deals to attend and play for that particular school.
That's a good question. That's a real good question. It's kind of a build off of what Mark just said. So the NCAA actually did release a new rule. This came out in May of 2022. Again, because people are getting mad at certain institutions and they're knocking on the door of the NCAA, they are basically trying to protect the students and trying to protect the collegiate sports by saying that boosters and NIL companies, schools and staff of schools, including coaches, can't be involved in creating deals at all. Not as a promise to attend or enroll or sign to a particular school program, athletics program. So they have basically made that rule for boosters and NIL collectives, and they basically just they were very clear about it. So I'm going to tell you what we can't do. We can't engage in recruiting conversations with a prospective student athlete. We may not communicate with a prospective student athlete, their family, or others affiliated with a prospective student athlete for recruiting or enrollment at a particular institution. And then there are other rules as it pertains to current student athletes as well. So it's important for student athletes and their parents to also know these rules because everybody, as we already know, will not have your best interests at heart. So you got to be careful in who you work with, whether it be somebody who has connections to a school, who knows a coach, who's on the coaching staff. You got to be careful because you don't want to run afoul of any NCAA rules that may hurt you in the long run. We're here to help. We are here to assist. And, you know, that's really the rule on that, Marva. But good question.
Well, thanks for that information, David. If you'd like to learn more about NILs and working with the Icon 1901 Collective, we invite you to attend our training camp on May 28th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. The registration link is in the credits, and you can find it on our Twitter page, the Icon 1901.
And I think it'll also be posted on our website, so make sure you check out our website. But listen, y'all have a good Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your evening or your day, and depending on the time zone. And we will see you here next week. Thank you again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.